Published in 1847 under the pseudonym Ellis Bell, Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights is a cornerstone of Gothic literature. Set in the desolate, windswept Yorkshire Moors in the late 18th century, the story spans two generations of the Earnshaw and Linton families. At its dark heart lies the intense, destructive bond between Heathcliff, an orphaned outsider, and Catherine Earnshaw. Bronte explores themes of social class, obsession, and the metaphysical nature of love. Unlike the moralizing novels of its time, Wuthering Heights remains neutral yet visceral, presenting a world where passion transcends even death. Wuthering Heights unfolds through nested narratives, primarily told by Mr. Lockwood, a tenant at Thrushcross Grange, and Nellie Dean, the housekeeper. Lockwood's initial visit to his landlord, Heathcliff, at the isolated Wuthering Heights, reveals a household steeped in tension and hostility. He encounters the sullen Heathcliff, the young and withdrawn Cathy Linton, and Heathcliff's sickly son, Linton Heathcliff. A stormy night traps Lockwood at Wuthering Heights, where he experiences a disturbing supernatural encounter, hearing a child's voice pleading to be let in. Nellie Dean, the primary narrator, recounts the history of the Earnshaw and Linton families in Lockwood. She begins by describing Mr. Earnshaw bringing a mysterious orphan, Heathcliff, back to Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff forms a deep, passionate bond with Mr. Earnshaw's daughter, Catherine. However, their relationship is complicated by their contrasting social positions and Catherine's volatile nature. Catherine's brother, Hindley, resents Heathcliff and oppresses him after their father's death. This mistreatment fuels Heathcliff's bitterness and desire for revenge. Meanwhile, Catherine becomes acquainted with the refined Linton family at Thrushcross Grange, where she is captivated by their gentility and by the handsome Edgar Linton. Despite her love for Heathcliff, Catherine's ambition and social aspirations lead her to accept Edgar's proposal. Heathcliff overhears Catherine's declaration of love for Edgar but not her later affirmation of her deeper, more primal love for him. He flees Wuthering Heights, believing himself rejected. 3 years later, he returns, now a wealthy and seemingly sophisticated man, determined to exact revenge on Hindley and win Catherine back. Heathcliff's return disrupts the fragile peace at Thrushcross Grange. He manipulates Hindley into gambling, causing him to lose Wuthering Heights to Heathcliff. He also rekindles his passionate connection with Catherine, causing emotional turmoil for her and Edgar. Catherine, torn between her love for Heathcliff and her duty to Edgar, falls ill and enters a feverish delirium. Catherine gives birth to a daughter, also named Catherine, before dying in Heathcliff's arms. Heathcliff is devastated by her death and curses her for abandoning him. His grief and rage intensify his desire for vengeance. The narrative then shifts to the next generation. Heathcliff plots to unite his sickly son, Linton, with Catherine Linton, Catherine, and Edgar's daughter, to secure control of Thrushcross Grange. He uses manipulation and emotional blackmail to achieve this union. Young Catherine, initially repulsed by the weak and petulant Linton, is forced into marriage by Heathcliff. He keeps her confined at Wuthering Heights, preventing her from seeing her dying father, Edgar. Linton dies shortly after the marriage, leaving Catherine a widow and Heathcliff the sole owner of both Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. Heathcliff's relentless pursuit of revenge leaves him empty and haunted. He becomes increasingly obsessed with Catherine's ghost, longing for a reunion with her. He neglects his own health and well-being, consumed by his desire for death and union with his lost love. Meanwhile, young Catherine finds solace in her cousin, Catherine Earnshaw, Hindley's son. Their relationship is initially marked by hostility and misunderstanding, mirroring the earlier dynamic between Heathcliff and Catherine. However, Catherine's kindness and patience gradually soften Hareton's rough exterior. She teaches him to read and write, fostering a bond of affection. As Heathcliff's obsession deepens, he begins to see Catherine's presence everywhere, driving him to madness. He loses his appetite and becomes increasingly withdrawn, no longer desiring revenge. He dies, his face bearing an expression of intense rapture, seemingly having achieved the reunion he craved. After Heathcliff's death, the relationship between young Catherine and Hareton blossoms. They plan to marry, symbolizing the reconciliation of the warring families and the restoration of peace to the Moors. Their union represents a triumph of love and forgiveness over hatred and revenge, suggesting a possibility for healing and renewal. Lockwood, witnessing this newfound harmony, departs the moors, leaving behind the turbulent legacy of Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is a masterpiece of psychological depth and structural complexity. Bronte's primary motivation appears to have been an exploration of the elemental, human spirit, ungoverned by Victorian morality or societal constraints. The novel's themes center on the cyclical nature of trauma and the thin line between love and hate. The artistic brilliance lies in its multi-layered narrative structure, which lends realism to an otherwise supernatural and feverish plot. The raw emotion, Gothic atmosphere, and complex characters create a haunting and unforgettable reading experience. Although its themes are often bleak, the novel ultimately offers a glimmer of hope in the possibility of redemption and the healing power of love, as evidenced by the eventual union of young Catherine and Hareton. It remains a timeless and provocative work that continues to resonate with readers.